I have dealt with people that have talked to me as if I don't understand English. Like, they'll talk to me like in a condescending way, and they'll say things like real slow. Like, so you're going to go straight down that way, down there. You see that pole down there? You're going to make it right. You're going to turn right. You know how to turn right, right? You're going to turn right down there. And then you're going to go straight to that stop sign. You see what the stop sign looks like? You see that, like, they'll do stuff like that. But you know that it's something, because you'll see them communicate with somebody else and they won't communicate with them that way. When I became a truck driver, I seen that racism shit it still exists. Racism. Alright, what's going on YouTube? It's your man Grandma J here, coming at y'all with this video. I'm currently at home. Like I told y'all, I was turning in my truck October 19th. Today is October 22nd, if I'm not mistaken, Monday. Filled out my resignation papers and went on about my day. Sold my chains back, and because I bought my chains brand new and I never opened them, I got the money that I paid for them back, which was $385. But this video here is to give y'all a year synopsis on my trucking journey, how I felt about being at Prime, and all of that good stuff. So, as far as how my trucking journey and everything started, I came into trucking with no driving experience whatsoever. I just happened to have my driver's license for a year on the record, but that does not mean that I drove for an entire year, which I did not. I had not had driving experience in a car whatsoever when I came to Prime, and I knew that it would be a struggle for me to drive, but I really wanted to drive trucks, so I tackled it head on, and I had issues with everything, but I had my CDL, and I have had it for a year. No accidents, no incidents, no violations. So I'm not telling you all to do that, but because my hunger was there, I knew that I had to get it by any means. I'm with no driving experience. I struggle with lane control. There are a lot of great trainers at Prime. The ones that I did come across, they weren't all that great. Granted, my TNT trainer wasn't all that bad, but I got off his truck not knowing as much as I should have known. And I don't fully blame him for that. I also blame myself for not making sure that I knew these things. My PSD training was horrible. The trainers weren't as patient as they should have been with someone that is new to an industry and driving a different kind of vehicle. I did night class, and I spent 5 weeks in the night class before I got my CDL. And my night class instructor was Kim Simmons. She works in the sim lab now. But my experience, my overall experience in the trucking industry was, you know, so-so. This is pretty much a cold-hearted industry if you plan to get into it. Every man for themselves. So cover your ass, cover your ass, cover your ass. Ask for help. Get out and look. Do everything that you need to do to stay safe out here. And don't trust everyone. You cannot trust people. This industry right here, even though I haven't been in it that long, you learn a lot. This industry right here is the only industry where someone will help you back into a spot and pull your pull your release arm so that you drop your trigger. Let that sink in. Like I said, you can't trust people. This is also the only industry that I'm only 22, so I haven't really held that many jobs in my lifetime. But this is the only industry that I see a lot of people are concerned about your pockets and what kind of money you're making and stuff like that. So don't get sucked into that right there. As far as Prime, I do recommend Prime. I do recommend people come to Prime. Prime is very selective in the people that they take. So, you know, shoot your shot, and if you make it, you know, go ahead and put all of your effort into it. Prime is a company where effort is everything. You know, you have to put your effort into it. If you're having trouble in training and stuff like that, you have to actually show that you're trying and stuff like that, and they'll work with you. And I don't think a lot of people know that. They just think that because that they're not getting it with their trainer, that they won't get it at all. Ask for help. They have in-house instructors. They pay in-house instructors for a reason. So I do definitely recommend Prime. They worked with me, and I'm forever grateful for that. Now, with that being said, Prime is not the only company. The issues I did have with Prime specifically was a lack of communication. So a lack of communication, a lot of miscommunication, and that was definitely a big issue among dispatchers. You tell one dispatcher one thing, and then you have to turn around and tell another dispatcher the same thing that you just told the other dispatcher. It's like talking in circles. A lot of people deal with that at other companies, but that was a big issue at Prime. Explaining yourself over and over and over and over and over again. A lot of micromanaging from some dispatchers. They try to tell you how to do your job, but they can't seem to do their job. Night and weekend dispatch is horrible, trash, useless. They are useless when it comes to communicating. And like I said, that's something you have to deal with. Here at Prime, we deal with the same issues that you deal with at other companies. We just get paid more to deal with the bullshit. So layovers, you get paid layover pay, detention pay, breakdown pay as a company driver. Depending on your dispatcher will take care of your check if you end up sitting on a load for way too long. But we get paid more to deal with the same bullshit that you deal with at other companies. So don't come to Prime thinking that you're going to escape problems that happen at other companies. You still deal with bullshit. You still deal with customers that hold you all day long in the dock. You still deal with customers that burn your clock out. You still deal with dispatch sending you to places knowing that you won't get unloaded, and then act surprised when you don't get unloaded. You do get sent on dummy missions like hunting down trailers and picking up a load at a customer that someone else was assigned to. You do it at Prime. So don't come to Prime thinking that that's not going to happen. My dispatcher was Glenn Waters out of the Piston Terminal. He is a great dispatcher. He does not micromanage. He lets you do your job how you want to do your job, as long as you get to your delivery and pick up on time and you communicate. Everything should be fine. That's how things work for me. Advice that I can give from my experience alone. 1 year, what I believe about the 1 year is the 1 year you learn a lot of the basics, and then that second year, if you choose to pursue a second year, you use the basic fundamentals that you've learned in your first year and you apply them in your second year, and that's when you make the most. That's how you make more money. I have made close to what Prime promises. I think Prime promises $45,000 or $52,000. I can't remember. You might have to look that up yourself. But I made close to $45,000 in my first year at Prime. I could have made more if I stayed OTR, but I was not OTR, as you all know. I was on a dedicated account, home weekends. I had the opportunity to run loads at times on weekends where I would have got more than the guarantee, but I chose to go home on weekends, so I didn't get more than the guarantee. So that's me capping my own money. That's my own personal decision. I could have made more. I could have made more staying OTR, but I didn't want to do OTR, so I done been regional. I done been OTR. I did the team thing. The only thing I didn't do was lease, so I can't really tell y'all too much on the lease, just the company side. You can make decent money as a company driver. Do not allow people that never drove company tell y'all that you can't make money company. How can someone speak on something that they never done? I never done lease, so I can't turn around and tell you that lease is bad, and I can't tell you not to do lease. I can only speak on what I experienced. So don't allow people to tell you can't make money company, because you can make money company. My biggest check as a company driver was $1,800 take home, and that was 7,500 miles with detention pay, with reimbursements, and I think I had layover in there as well. So that's that. Now, a check that you can consistently get, I want to say you can get $1,300 consistently, as long as you run like 2,500 miles a week. 2,500 miles a week isn't that much, to be honest. So, as a company driver, you can make decent checks. You can make a stack or above as a company driver. without detention pay. I have had some low checks. My lowest check being negative $74 because I had benefits through Prime. So even though you're on home time, even though you're on home time, they'll still take the money out of your next settlement if you go home a specific day and don't come back out by the time payroll ends. So that's that. Another issue that I do have with Prime, sorry this video's all over the place, I didn't script it or anything, but another issue I did have with Prime was sitting around a lot waiting for a pre-plan or waiting to get dispatched, period. When I was teamed with Eli, me and Eli would deliver loads, and we would sit for hours on end waiting on loads, and that would burn out one of our clocks. Even as a solo driver, you do sit around and you do sit and wait on loads. The longest I ever waited on a load, I want to say it's about 5-6 hours for another load. And dispatch fails to realize that even though you're shut down or off duty, that does not mean that you're asleep, and that does not mean that they can use that time to count as your sleeper berth time, if that makes sense. Prime also has an issue with doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and add on some more cons now that I remember. But things that'll do is, like, if you're sitting in a dock or at a customer waiting to get into a dock for 5 hours, and you get unloaded, once you send your macro 4 saying that you're unloaded, they try to dispatch you on a load that picks up immediately because you were sitting in a dock for 5 hours and it took them 2 hours to unload you. So that means you've been off duty for 7 hours. Now you only got 3 more hours until your time comes back, and then they try to have you pick up a load 3 hours after. That's an issue. You have dispatchers that will call your phone and try to get you to do some illegal shit, and they won't say it through the Qualcomm because they know you're not allowed to do it. So they'll call your phone and you'll try to do it. New drivers, do not fall for that. Do not fall for it. If your load is illegal, I don't care if it's over 100 pounds, don't run it, because that same dispatcher that told you to run that shit is not going to be in office, is not going to vouch for you, is not going to pay for those fines. This is your CDL at risk when you do these things, so, protect yourself, because he's protecting himself. He's calling you on the phone telling you, or she's calling you on the phone and telling you to do this bullshit because they're covering themselves. If they didn't care about themselves, they would have sent you that shit on a Qualcomm where you would have proof. So don't do no illegal shit with your CDL. It's your CDL, not theirs. You have to deal with the fines and the consequences of those things. You can't blame it on anyone else. And that's one thing about the trucking industry. When things happen, you only have yourself to blame at the end of the day. You have to cover your ass. You have to be safe. You have to be, diligent. You have to drive defensively. You have to, sorry about that, y'all. But, like I said, sometimes you're going to have to let your pride down and just, go ahead and let that car in, because some of these cars try to get in by any means necessary. And if that means hitting you, you're a professional driver. At the end of the day, you have a license to drive the vehicle that you drive professionally and efficiently and safely. So more often than not, when accidents happen with a truck and a car, or a truck and another truck or whatever, the truck driver is looked at first before they even assess anything else. They look at you first. So that's something else that I want to put in there. So sometimes let your pride down. I have had to do that a lot of times, despite not really wanting to and not knowing that I had the right of way. I still let the cars go and stuff like that. My least favorite states to travel, I did not like driving on the west side. I did not like the northwest. I did not like the west coast. Point blank period. I like driving through Texas sometimes, depending on what part. Houston and the inner city was hectic, but the worst state that I ever driven in has to be Chicago. The worst city, Chicago. That was the worst headache of my life, and I will never ever go back to Chicago, driving in Chicago again. I promise y'all. Will I ever drive trucks again? I don't know. I'm never gonna say never. I never said that I'll never drive trucks again. It's just at this point right now, I just want to break from it. The lifestyle of trucking is definitely something to get used to. It's not something that you can condition yourself to, because everything is always changing. So it just really takes some getting used to when you start to drive trucks. You're always constantly worried about, you know, your 10-hour break when your time comes back and stuff like that. You're forced to drive, shut down. You're forced to, you know, work within the limits of the DOT clock. So that was another issue. It's been times where I had to drive and I was dead tired even though my 10-hour break was up. It's been times where I still wanted to drive, where I still had time to drive, but because my 14-hour was up, I could no longer drive. There's been times where that has happened. So, you know, you have to learn how to work your clock efficiently. If you don't know how, ask people for tips. JMV, shout out to JMV. That's my motherfucking guy right there, man. I called this man 2 o'clock in the morning about sliding some damn tandem before this man answered the phone, told me what to do, you know, gave me some tips. So, you know, shout out to JMV. If you're going to Prime and you don't know any other trainers besides Junior or Smitty, go ahead and head up my guy, JMV. He's pretty laid back. He's willing to help and everything like that. I met a lot of awesome people at Prime that I still talk to today. Shout out to Trucker Tay. I haven't spoke to Ray David in a while, but me and him chopped it up a couple times. So shout out to Ray David. I've met so many people. It's crazy. Trucker Woods, me and him talk all the time, and I met him off of YouTube, and I've met him in person in Texas. We came across each other. So, you know, you can meet a lot of people that want nothing but good things to happen, but you just, like I said, you have to be wary. You really have to be wary. A lot of people like to use you, and you just can't trust. You can't let your guard down too often. A lot of useless, pointless people that come into your life, and don't let everybody know your goals. It's not meant for everyone to know your goals. A lot of people try to sabotage other people's lives, indirectly, directly. You just never know what people's intentions are. So that's something you have to worry about in trucking. Snake ass people. People can really be snaky, man. You think you know somebody and really don't know them. So with that being said, this is the end of my video. I don't want to make it too long. Grandma family has been really awesome to the kid. It's crazy. I hit a year, but become Grandma certified by hitting the bell. Join the Grandma family by subscribing. It's your guy Grandma J, and I'm signing up out of here.